If a chakra is not okay, that's not the root cause for other things. The root cause is something else that makes that chakra not okay, and then other things are happening. So the root causes be, why are you not feeling grounded? Why? What is there that is blocking?
Welcome to the Wellness Amazon podcast, where we talk about everything body, mind, and spirit, health, and wellness. No subject is taboo here, and we have fun peeling back all the layers. Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the Wellness Amazon podcast. Today, again, with another solo episode. These happen very rarely, but every once in a while they do. And today we're going to talk about chakras. Chakras, right? I'm pretty sure everybody by this time has heard of a chakra before, or chakras. And some people are very versed in this, and some people just kind of know what it is, and some people don't know what it is at all. So we're going to go through the absolute basics. If you are very familiar with it, you might not learn a ton about this today, but this is a great episode for beginners. And even if you are super familiar with it, you might learn a thing or two. Who knows, right? So chakras. I'm going to try to use very simple verbiage today and words and nothing too fancy so that we can all follow. I always think that if you do understand something to its core, it should be relatively easy to explain it in a very simple term. But sometimes this can get a little tricky, and I am not saying by any means that I am an expert, but I have submerged myself in the subject of chakras probably since I'm a teenager. So it's been a while. I have my nifty chart over here. I actually have a lot of these in my house. They will explain the chakras, and I'm going to use this as my little guide here too. And the nice thing is that we can talk about colors and affirmations and symptoms and all of that stuff. None of this is medical advice. Don't come at me. This is just, very simple energy healing, energy meridians, and we're going to get there. The other thing is, if you want some reading material, this book, no affiliation to it, but it is called The Chakra Healing, or The Complete Book of Chakra Healing. It's big. So if you want something quick and easy to read for the most basic stuff about chakras, this is not it. This is not it. This is a very detailed book about chakras and about how to heal with them and how to really energize your energy centers. We're going to get there too. I have some crystals over here. We're going to talk about crystals, and we're going to talk about just very quick and easy things on how to go through chakras. So what is a chakra? A chakra is energy. It is an energy center that you have inside your body. And today we are just talking about the 7 main chakras. Yes, there is kind of like sidekick chakras, and there's micro chakras in your body, just like in your palms. That's why, rub those palms together. It can be very beneficial, that heat that you're creating. But we're not going to talk about this today. We're going to talk about our 7 main chakras in the body. They have the color of the rainbow, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So they are in a straight line into your body. They start pretty much at the absolute base of your spine and go all the way to the crown of your head. And the one on the crown of your head is actually called the crown chakra. So easy to remember. And they go in the kind of like in the rainbow color scheme. So we start with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple. So you have energy meridians in your body. And if you're really skeptic about this, energy meridians are something that even in acupuncture, acupressure, that works with this system as well, correct? So you have energy meridians in your body, which some scientists now say this actually correlates to the lymphatic system in your body, which is a huge network too. So you have muscles, you have bones, you have nerves, you have fascia, you have all these different tissues that a lot of people don't talk about. Fascia, totally underrated, right? Your lymphatic system, absolutely underrated. People know about lymph knots, but they don't talk about the system that connects all these lymph knots. And it's amazing. You should Google it, what that looks like. it's very intricate, and it looks like a network inside of your body that almost looks like white blood vessels. So they go through everywhere. Now they are very much centered inside where which makes sense. Where are your main organs? In the center of your body. So this is where these energy meridians have sources, and it's almost like fountains where they start. And these energy centers are your chakras, and they all do different things. So we're going to start from the bottom because we start counting chakras from the bottom. So chakra number 1 is the one at the absolute base. So the tailbone of your spine, and that is going to be called your root chakra. Very easy to remember too. It makes sense, root, because it roots you, and it's actually connected to your very lower extremities. So feet and your knees, things like this, right? So I'm going to have my nifty chart here. So when we talk about the root chakra, that is a very deep red that is usually associated with it. And when we talk about crystals, we talk about anything that is a very deep red crystal. And I'm going to turn this around just because I can't have this all in my head, right? So the crystals would be a bloodstone, a garnet, which garnets are beautiful, a red agate. By the way, agates come in almost every color, just like a jasper, and they are a fantastic choice for using different colors. If you are a fan of jasper, you can have a jasper in pretty much any color you want. And rubies. Ruby, of course, is a little bit more expensive, but it also depends if you get a tumbled or a raw stone. So they change their value the way they are maybe cut. The root at the base of the spine is, the mantra would be Om or Si, and it's the element earth, because root, earth, right? That makes sense. The issues, what we see here when people have issues with their root chakra, would be very weak immune system. So the overall feeling is just because this is your base, right? It's your foundation. If the foundation is wobbly, everything else is kind of go with it. But a lot of times we see things with feet, leg, knee problems, foot problems. Like I said, everything like lower extremities, lower back issues. You have lack of flexibility sometimes, or disorders in the bones and the teeth, because the bones and the teeth are like the furthest inside you go into your body, which again, that's your base, right? Your skeletal system and your bone marrow is your base of your body, and then things get layered on. So the root chakra is all about the base. Now, this, what I just told you, is like an unbalanced chakra. So the chakras, because they're energy systems, they can have too much energy, which usually is because something else is blocked and that energy doesn't flow, or it can be underactive because somewhere else is a block, or around that chakra is a block, and the energy can't go back in there. So energy needs to flow. It needs to flow in our entire system at all times, just like your blood flows, just like, your lymphatic system pushes out toxins, just like your water needs to go in your cells, all of that stuff. Same with energy. So if you have a balanced root chakra, the thing is just you feel very grounded. You feel very grounded in what you do every day, and you are usually everything else falls into place just because you have a solid foundation. A lot of times when people have issues with their chakras and they go to someone to help them, they always start, no matter if there's a problem with the root chakra or not, they check the root chakra because it is such a foundational chakra that needs to work in order for everything else to work. So you feel also prosperous, safe, secure, good health, strength, control. That is the other thing. Security and feeling safe is your foundational feeling that you need to have. If you feel unsafe and unstable, again, that's where that wobbly foundation comes into play. That is an underactive or blocked root chakra. Okay, now you're going to ask, well, what do we do if I feel like a chakra is kind of like wonky, right? Well, this is where things come in about color. So the most inexpensive and easy to do thing that you can do is A, an affirmation. You can even meditate about it. It's totally free. And B, look into your closet and find something that is the color of that chakra. So if it's the root chakra, do you have anything that is colored red, dark red, maroon, maybe even a dark brown or like a reddish brown. That is something that is very associated with that color. And some people say if you put that color on your body in terms of clothing, it's going to connect with that chakra and, help that chakra to have a little bit more energy and have energy flow there. Other people say affirmations are better because the affirmation might be connecting to the problem why that chakra is blocked. Because here's the thing, if a chakra is not okay, that's not the root cause for other things. The root cause is something else that makes that chakra not okay, and then other things are happening. So the root causes be, why are you not feeling grounded? Why? What is there that is blocking you? So there's a beautiful affirmation that says, here we go. If you feel ungrounded, this might be for you. I am safe, secure, and stable. I am at peace with who I am. If you don't feel this at all, don't fake it until you make it kind of thing. You can rewrite this and say, at the moment, I don't feel stable and balanced, but I am striving to feel safe, secure, and stable, and go from there, right? Essential oils, if you're into this, for the root chakra would be cedarwood, frankincense, myrrh, vetiver, and patchouli. And if you know your essential oils, you probably thought hey, wait a second, those are all the very earthy smells. Yes, very earthy smells, especially cedarwood, vetiver. I mean, those are very, very earthy. These plants come from the ground. They get, one is a tree and one vetiver is a root. It gets dug out of the ground, and that can be very, very grounding. Might not be that you find them very delicious, but they are very grounding. I do love to put crystals on things and essential oils and all of these things, and then just see how you feel. But you do need to ask yourself the question, why do I not feel secure and balanced? And then that answer to that question is the first line of defense, where you need to start looking at, do you not feel secure in your relationship? Do you not feel secure in your home? Are you not feeling safe in your home? Any of these things are going to be very disruptive for that chakra. So you want to kind of address that and see where it's going. All right. Chakra number 2. Love that chakra. It's the sacral chakra. Of course, now we are orange, right? We're in the orange field. The sacral chakra sits underneath your solar plexus, underneath your belly button, more in the pubic bone area. So pubic bone area underneath your belly button, especially for women, imagine your pelvic floor, right? Your pelvis is that bowl-shaped bone, and in there is that beautiful orange energy ball sitting in there. And also, all chakra, they are spinning. There is an old thing that says they should be spinning clockwise. I have now heard differently that some people say it doesn't matter. They can change how they spin. They just shouldn't be erratic, right? It should be balanced and in a rhythm and not erratic. So with the sacral chakra is everything about not just sexuality, which of course we realize where it sits, right? But it's also about creativity because, birthing, not just children, but birthing ideas, birthing projects, creating things is birthing things. No matter if that is a painting, if that's poetry, if that's music, if that's, I don't know, a workout you throw together. People get so hung up on the word creativity and think it always has to be art. It doesn't. Creativity can also be you making a great joke, or you writing a blog post, or it doesn't always have to be, paintings and poetry. That's not it. Creativity can come into everything you do every day. You cooking a meal, that's creative right there. So don't overthink it too much. So again, we have lower back pain if this is not stable and totally unbalanced. There is reproductive disorders, knee pain, urinary tract infections, and just sexual dysfunction sometimes too when there is a blockage. And then again, we need to look at why is it blocked, right? So the affirmation, which again, we can use for a question, is, I am creating a life of harmony and a life of happiness. So do I not feel like I can create anything? Do I have a creative block? Do I feel kind of blah, in the terms of what is my purpose kind of thing? Like a little bit of sometimes we have transitions in life and we have identity crises, and this is totally normal, but that does then conjunct with the sacral chakra. It just goes into it that. And supporting that during that time can help. So the color is orange. So if you have anything orange or you have orange things that you can surround yourself with, and the element is water. So a lot of times people love to take baths. With the root chakra, it's earth, so grounding in the sense of walking barefoot on the ground can be helpful. With the sacral chakra, take a long cleansing shower, take a bath, go to the ocean or a lake or whatever water is doing to you, or watch pretty fountains if you don't have a lot of nature around you. So any of that stuff can help. And the essential oils, again, we think about orange. So that's literally translating into the scents too. So you can take orange scent, like orange oil, bergamot, clary sage is great, patchouli, rose, sandalwood, and ylang ylang. They're beautiful smells, but they're also they're more sensual, which then also translates into what we just discussed about this chakra. And crystals would be, again, anything that is orange. So a carnelian, a citrine, which a lot of citrines are heat treated, but I have learned from the crystal show that it doesn't matter. It's just all about the color, what energies they hold. Orange calcite and also moonstone, which is not orange, but it can help. And I really just love, I think this is a jasper too. So whatever floats your boat, it doesn't have to be super accurate too. Like if you find an orange stone that's a little bit more red orange, don't worry about it. You're still in the right vicinity down there. That's fine. And then people ask me, well, what do you do with these crystals, right? Well, the answer is you can use palm stones or anything and put it on your body while you meditate or lay down or sit or whatever. I know girls that put crystals in their bras or in their pockets. And then there's people that just wear it as jewelry. Earrings, necklaces, necklaces. We're going to talk about the throat chakra is amazing. I have put things that are more for the sacral and the root chakra in my pant pockets because then I know that it's like closer there. Bracelets, anklets, whatever rocks your boat is good for that. So the sacral chakra, when we feel happy and it's feeling balanced, is just your understanding and you're respecting your personal boundaries. Might want to check the boundary episode. Experience pleasure, accepting of change, and emotional balance. Accepting of change is a very big one too, because you can just flow better. You're more in a flow state and you're like, okay, you kind of go with the flow and you don't freak out because something is not going your way and you are not in charge and you're not in control of that change, because that's what the sacral chakra will handle and will support that flow state. All right. Number 3 is the solar plexus chakra or solar chakra. Literally, where is your solar plexus? That's where it is. That's why it's called that way. It is a little bit above your belly button, and it is a yellow, beautiful yellow, whatever floats your boat yellow. I always say the brighter the better, almost like a corn yellow, and whatever yellow stone you can find. We're going to talk about this. But the thing about the solar plexus chakra, a lot of people call it the inner child chakra. So it has a lot to do with joy and just feeling a little bit more like carefree in the world, right? So if you have anxiety, depression, you're constantly tired, right? And again, those are medical terms. This is not medical advice, obviously, right? Digestive problems, not really maybe good relationship with food, diabetes. So everything with like digestion is a little off there, right? Because it's sitting right there where also your intestines are in the smack middle. And that's what we want to work on. So the question of the day would be, or the affirmation of the day that can be a question is, I am valuable, capable, and successful in my endeavors. So if you don't feel this deep in your bone, why? Why do you not feel like you're worth it? Are you worthy? Are you worthy of XYZ? Are you successful about everything? Do you believe in yourself? That's where that sits. And if any of those questions you answer in a very negative way, you can address that and really sit with yourself and understand on, okay, why is that? The essential oils are, as you guessed it is yellow. So I always recommend very light citrusy smell. So yes, you can use lemon, lemongrass, grapefruit, but also coriander, cedarwood, and ginger, and rosemary, and also peppermint, because it's very invigorating. And again, this is like the joyous energy generator solar plexus chakra. It's also like almost right in the middle because it's number 3. I mean, not quite, we're going to get to the heart chakra next, but both of those are, yeah, they're right there. And then amber, I love amber, citrine, golden topaz, and a sunstone. Sunstone is very glittery almost. I have a yellow citrine that works too. Again, if you have an agate or jasper, it's fine. It's fine. Whatever color and whatever calls to you too. Like, don't get too caught up on doing it right. And the element is fire. So you want to feel warm. You want to maybe be in the sun for a little while. You do want to have daylight, which makes sense. People that do the grounding makes sense. The water makes sense. Now we're back into you need to go outside. You need daylight. You need to understand that there's light and the light is in you, especially when you feel that like I have no joy going on. And this is your joyous chakra. This is what it needs. It needs you to help and have these tools that help you to feel more joy. Once this chakra is all good, we feel we have a warm personality. We're dependable and confident because here again, we believe in ourselves. We are more spontaneous. Why? Because again, flow state, okay, we're okay with change, and a good sense of humor and capable of managing stress. All because that joy is restored and is there and is supporting you and you supporting it. Fabulous. Number 4, heart chakra. Interesting about the heart chakra is it is green. It is actually green. But a lot of times people associate pink with it. So pink stones, pink oils, pink clothing, pink everything. That's totally fine. Both speak to your heart chakra. Again, in the traditional sense, it is green, but pink works too. So the heart chakra, I mean, I don't have to tell you where it sits, right? It sits where your heart is. And a lot of things that it affects are things with the lungs. So immune system deficiency, asthma, anything with the lungs, chest, heart, breasts, or lack of circulation. Make sense of where it sits and where it's spreading its energy. So since it is green, obviously everything that is green, but also everything that is pink. So a lot of times people tell you to use rose quartz for the heart, which is totally fine. But you can also take green aventurine. You can take other green stones, malachite, all that stuff. It's totally fine. You're okay with each. I have even used greenish, like mint green that were borderline turquoise, and it's lovely, like an Amazonite. I love Amazonite right there. I don't know, feels good. And it's fine. But I also love pink things. So it's totally up to you, whatever calls to you. And the mantra is, I accept and love myself unconditionally. That's a big one. I also love and accept others unconditionally. So self-love is huge with the heart chakra. And a lot of times what I see is incapable of loving yourself and incapable of forgiveness. Those are like the 2 major points about the heart chakra that we see where people have issues with either one of those or both. And then is the question on why. So that's your soul surge question, right? Why can I not forgive? Why can I not love myself unconditionally? Because that's the key word. Sometimes people learn to love themselves in baby steps, and that's totally fine. But getting to a point of unconditional self-love is extremely hard for a lot of people. But that's not saying that you shouldn't try to achieve that, because it's an absolute immense state of freedom once you get there. So the element is air, which makes sense because it's right on the lungs. And it is just really fresh air. And please air out your house. Air out your home more than once a year. Do it very, very periodically and more often, because getting that stagnant energy out of your home. I know we talked about feng shui on the show before, and I can link that episode as well. It is extremely important to do that, and it makes your heart chakra very happy. But it also means you doing breathing techniques, because a lot of us, we have very shallow breathing and we don't breathe correctly. We've also had a breath work episode. It's amazing how all of this comes together. So yeah, breathing, deep breaths, and really making sure you have that rhythmic deep belly breathing is very, 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 very good for your heart chakra. And then the essential oils, as you would have guessed, everything that's more flowery, romantic, but also green. So bergamot, cypress, geranium, jasmine, and lavender, which all three of those are beautiful flowers, lemon, wild orange, and ylang ylang. Ylang ylang is actually called the inner child oil sometimes, like that joy. So every chakra that is connected to that, same with the solar plexus chakra, is always a good idea. And then crystals, I've talked about crystals a little bit before, but here is again green calcite, green agate, emerald, amazonite. Amazonite, that's my favorite. So everything that's green, but also everything that's pink. So if pink is more of your jam, you're good to go. And the way you feel when it's balanced is absolutely self-love, love for others, self-love and acceptance for yourself and for others. You're considerate, you have empathy, right? A lot of empathy, a balance of independence and dependence. So you're not afraid to ask for help, so you let other people in, but you can also do things on your own, and you're not codependent, which is sometimes can be a very teeter-totter balanced thing to do. But a balanced heart chakra does just that. All right, now we get to the fifth one, and I think that might be my favorite with the sacral one. So they both depends on the day. But the throat chakra, right, sits in your throat, is something that females, for some reason, have the most, I don't want to say problems with, but I hear it a lot about it's blocked. That's what I hear a lot. Throat chakra is blocked. I'm like, okay. Why? And a lot of times, and we're going to get there, is speaking your truth. Nowadays, we live in a society where speaking your truth is incredibly hard, and people do not discuss differences of opinions very well anymore because we immediately get mad and upset about somebody not having the same opinion as us. And that is very, 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 very bad for your throat chakra. But other ailments are TMJ. Boy, do I have that, right? So you are clenching your jaw, you're grinding your teeth at night. This is constantly tender and it hurts. So when you massage right here, is like you can feel that it's tight and tense, and you just wish you could just have like a jaw massage, which by the way, you can get that. You can get a TMJ massage. They even go inside of your mouth. Very hard to find, but very good. Then that translates to your neck. So if you're constantly tight in your neck, yeah, that's one of them. And it can also go into your shoulders. Your voice is not clear, not loud, something is off with your voice. It's unbalanced. And then ears, nose, and throat, because they're all connected, right? So you hearing or issues with your ears, ringing, sinus issues, all of these things. It's all connected. Again, this is not medical advice. All right, so what were we doing with the throat chakra? The throat chakra is blue. A very nice, not too deep blue, more on the maybe a little lighter side. There's throat chakra, I think, is the most different color scheme I've ever seen. I have seen deep blue, I have seen light baby blue, I have seen turquoise blue, I have seen teal, I have seen it all. Let's just say blue, okay? It's just blue. And the element, of course it is. It is sound. It is you hearing. Listen to your music or listen to nothing. That's the other thing. People think that when I say sound that they have to listen to something. You actually don't. You can put on noise-canceling headphones and sit in silence with yourself for a little bit. That can be this could just be the cure. Okay? Other than that, it is, sometimes it's music, but sometimes it's also like nature sounds. Like you need to hear the world in its pure, most primal form, and not the cars and the ambulance and all the stress around you. Since it is over here, right, you can also put essential oils right on your throat, and they would be angelite, aquamarine, blue sapphire. Oh, sorry, those are the crystals. I was like, what? Basil, bergamot, chamomile, cypress, peppermint, and wintergreen. I love peppermint right over here. It's just so invigorating. I don't know. And I love basil and bergamot. Bergamot, some essential oils make you more sensitive to the sun, so please advise with that and talk to your aromatherapist about that. But yes, the crystals are, so I have a lapis lazuli right here, which, it's blue and white, so that's fine. But also angelite, aquamarine, blue, sapphire, and turquoise, which they're all a little bit on the lighter side. And that can be very nice too. And again, I have all these necklaces. So I have an Amazonite necklace right here, and I love that. And I have a blue sea glass, I have turquoise, I have blue agate. I have all these necklaces with little stones on it because I always think like having something blue and then having it right on the throat chakra, hello, right? It's perfect, the way where it sits, and it's very supportive. So then when the affirmation, since we're talking about speaking your truth, I communicate with grace, truth, and clarity. Truth. I communicate with grace, so I'm not trying to convince other people yelling at them. That's not grace, right? Truth and clarity. Do I do that? Why not? Do I always tell white lies to make other people feel? Why? This could be in connection with the heart chakra. And this is why they are right on top of each other. Because if I am scared to talk to, tell my truth and speak my truth, maybe I have self-compassion problems, which then goes back to the heart chakra. So check those two. When we feel super balanced, we are clearly communicating. We're in a balance of listening and talking, right? Those two have to be in balance. And we have a balanced expression of emotions. So we can convey our emotions with grace. It's a beautiful thing, but it's hard to get there too. I totally understand. But that's the throat chakra. Next one is the third eye. The third eye is indigo. So more like this color. And the third eye is just, like the name says, it's right here. Open. It's your third inner eye right here, and it's the eye that sees things that these two eyes cannot see. That's where a lot of your intuition sits too, because it sees things around you that your two human eyes cannot see. And the third eye is also very important for meditation, for receiving messages, also for prayer. Very important. If you pray, that can be very helpful. And usually the most ailments that people have are either poor vision, so anything with the eyes, or headaches, just because it sits right there in your head. There is a couple of glands in your brain that are connected to those. Again, I have heard multiple teachings about this. So one says the pituitary gland is connected to the third eye. One says the amygdala, the hippocampus. I've heard it all. I don't shoot anything down of that. It's like, why wouldn't they all be connected to it? So, what are we asking ourselves? I will follow the path the divine is showing me to find purpose. Can I see the path? Can I follow the path? Do I want to find my purpose? Do I believe in the divine? All of these questions are connected with that mantra. The element is light. So again, it doesn't necessarily have to be sunlight, but it is asking you to also envision light, because that can help tremendously with that. Also, please don't drink water with fluoride in it. Please filter it. There is things about fluoride in water and your pituitary gland. It blocks your third eye. So if you don't believe in any of that, but you do believe in chakras, there you go. That's your ticket. So the essential oils that balance the chakra are clary sage, marjoram, lemongrass, patchouli, and sandalwood. And obviously darker blue stones. So amethyst, which is more purple, but that's okay. Blue quartz, charoite, kyanite. Oh, do I love kyanite? And sodalite. Sodalite is almost like this too. Once we feel balanced there, we are capable of visualization. And I know there is medical terms for people that cannot visualize at all whatsoever. So if I tell you, think about a lemon, what are you doing? You're thinking about a lemon. You're visualizing a lemon. You can see a lemon in front of your inner eye. That is your imagination. That's also your third eye. There's people that can't do that, and that's okay. I'm not saying that working on your third eye is going to fix that. However, sometimes you can visualize something, but out of a sudden it's harder than it was before. And when you're trying to do maybe like a visualization practice or meditation, out of a sudden it's just so hard. Or you read a book, you read a fiction book, and you just can't imagine what this looks like. You read the page 4 times and you still don't envision it. Working on that third eye can help with these things. You have logical thought process, you are perceptive, and you are creative and imaginative. So again, that creativity from the sacral chakra and the visions of the third eye go together, right? So this is where sometimes we have to check if it's one or the other, or is there a block in the middle somewhere where the energy can't run. Last one, almost there, guys. The crown chakra. With the crown chakra, again, sometimes it's clear. People say it's clear. Some people say it is gold because it's the crown. And some people say, no, it is purple. That's fine. We're going to go through all of them. So this is more about really everything that is in your head, all the ailments. So it's more cognitive than physical ailments that you can see. So migraines can be, but also very forgetful, amnesia, cognitive dissolutions, just a massive brain fog. Something is not working. I've also heard a lot when people have issues with faith very suddenly, or with prayer or meditation, and that just stops working for them and they can't do it anymore, and something is off and they don't know what it is or why. A lot of times it's the crown chakra and there's a block somewhere, and it's almost like you have a radio and you cut off the antennas. Nothing can go in and out. So you have to fix the antenna to have that clear signal again to the divine, universe, God, whatever floats your boat. So let's just say violet for now, right? Because I'm just usually going with violet. And the element is thought. So as you can see, it's a little bit more aloof than the other chakras, right? We can even say, is that really an element? But yes, we're going with it now. So thought, it wants you to think. It wants you to clean those antennas off. To connect with your spiritual self is really the goal here. And the mantra is, I am a beautiful person. I am one with myself and the divine. Do you feel yourself close to God, or that you're, God's child, or the divine, or the universe, or does this feel good? Does it feel clear? Or is there something that like, it's a little off right now? This might be it. Essential oils would be cedarwood, frankincense, helichrysum, lavender, sandalwood, and rose. Rose, frankincense, helichrysum, those are more of the expensive oils. And it's because they are, very royal almost. I mean, doesn't matter if you're a believer in Jesus or not, but if we believe the scripture, what did he get? Frankincense and myrrh. And gold. So it was right in that gold category, these plant materials back then. I don't want to call them essential oils because they didn't come in essential oil form, but those are really, really good oils to use. And then crystals, everything that is pretty much clear. So it can be a clear quartz, or you can't really see that this is purple, but it is. It's an amethyst. So a clear quartz, a diamond, a moonstone, a purple fluorite, or an amethyst, they're all fantastic to put right over into this area. What I usually do during either when I do pray laying down or meditation, I usually lay down meditation, I put one just right there on the yoga mat or wherever, so it's not on my head, but it's close to the crown of my head. And then when we have this very balanced crown chakra, we have a very open mind. We feel more spiritual connected, and we have process information easily. Your synapses are working, and everything is wiring and firing fairly quickly in its most optimal form. And you are aware and alert, which again, that awareness third eye. So they're connected, right? This can clearly see and then feed information. So it's not really that far off from the physical body. It is just things that we physically can't see. It is doing the same thing, just in an energetic space. So if you feel like your prayer is great, you have a great spiritual connection to whatever you believe in, that's a good sign for a balanced crown chakra. In my personal experience, it happens more that the lower chakras become blocked or unbalanced before the upper ones are. This is just a side note, but that doesn't have to be like this for you. Yeah, if you have any questions about any of this, definitely comment, let me know, and I am glad to answer those questions. I absolutely love it, and it is very much, in the Western hemisphere, not so much, but in the Eastern medicine and even traditional Chinese medicine, this is just is a very, meridians are very essential for acupuncture. This is more respected than it is here, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I hope you had a good time today and that you're going to tune in again next Monday when the new episode's coming out. And I hope you have a fabulous week. All right. Much love to y'all. Bye.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. Leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, a review, and share it with somebody you think needs this. Have a fabulous day. See you next time.